All right, so let's jump into this deep dive. And, we're really focusing in on quality assurance QA and good manufacturing practices, GMP.
Yeah.
And this is in the pharmaceutical and biotech industries. We've
hmm
got all our materials here ready to go. And I think the mission for today is to really figure out why this stuff is so important,
Absolutely.
why it's the foundation for, you know, the medicines and therapies that we rely on.
It's the bedrock.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think
Yeah.
about the safety and efficacy of the things that literally keep us alive,
Yeah.
QA and GMP are kind of the unsung heroes
Yeah, for sure.
of the whole process.
Yeah, and it's interesting how they're kind of like two sides of the same coin.
Exactly.
You know.
Two sides of the same coin is a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, you've got QA, which is all about preventing problems in the first place.
Right.
It's the system, the comprehensive system.
Like from the get-go.
From the get-go.
Yeah.
And then you've got GMP, which is saying,
Yeah.
okay, assuming we've prevented those problems,
Right.
how do we actually manufacture this product to the highest possible quality?
Well, consistently.
Consistently every
Okay.
time.
Yeah, so let's break down QA a little bit more because
Yeah.
I think sometimes people get that confused with quality control QC.
They do.
What's the distinction there?
Well, the core difference really comes down to QA being proactive.
Okay.
You're building quality in from the beginning.
Right.
You're thinking about the design, the process, all the way through to distribution.
Right.
And you're putting in place systems and procedures that minimize the chance of any errors happening.
So you're trying to prevent those errors.
You're trying to prevent those errors, exactly.
Okay.
QC, on the other hand, is more reactive.
Okay.
It's what happens at the end of the process or at various points.
At checkpoint.
At checkpoints, yeah.
Okay.
And it involves testing and inspecting the product to catch any defects that might have slipped through.
Gotcha. So it's like QA is setting up all the safeguards to ensure you get a perfect outcome.
That's a great way to think about it.
And QC is like that last minute check to make sure that everything worked.
Yeah. And ideally, with a robust QA system, your QC process should really just be a confirmation.
Right.
You shouldn't be finding a lot of problems.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Now, GMP, in our sources, it really emphasizes that this is the how-to.
It is the how-to, yeah.
So what does that actually look like in the real world?
Well, I think the fascinating thing about GMP is the level of detail that it goes into.
Okay.
It's not just about the ingredients or whatever.
Right.
It's about everything.
Oh, wow.
So we're talking about the design and maintenance of the facilities.
Like the actual building?
The actual building, yeah.
Okay.
The clean rooms, air filtration, all of that stuff.
Oh, wow. So it goes that deep?
It goes that deep, yeah.
Okay.
It covers the calibration of every single piece of equipment that's used. The training of personnel, making sure everyone knows exactly what they're doing and why.
Right.
And then there's this huge emphasis on meticulous record keeping.
Okay.
So that you can trace every single batch of product
Wow.
back to its origin.
Okay, so it's really about controlling every variable that could possibly affect.
Every single variable, yeah.
Yeah.
And, if we connect that back to why it matters,
Right.
imagine if a medication varied significantly from batch to batch.
Right.
You wouldn't know what you were getting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So GMP provides this framework for consistency,
Gotcha.
which is what patients depend on.
And these aren't just like suggestions, are they? I mean, there's some serious regulatory bodies involved here.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the pharmaceutical and biotech industries are some of the most heavily regulated industries in the world.
Right.
And for good reason,
Yeah.
about public health.
Yeah.
So adherence to GMP is often a legal requirement.
Oh, wow.
And this leads us to the concept of validation.
Okay, validation. Now, that sounds like it's more than just testing.
It is.
Oh,
It is.
yeah.
Validation is about providing documented proof.
Yep.
Hard evidence that a specific process system or piece of equipment will consistently produce a product that meets its predetermined quality standards.
So it's not enough to just say, like, yeah, we follow GMP.
No, you have to prove it.
You've got to prove it.
With data,
Okay.
you have to demonstrate that your processes are reliable
Right.
and that they'll work as expected every time.
So it's really about building that confidence
Exactly.
that the manufacturing process is sound.
Yes,
And that it's going to deliver a quality product every time.
every time, consistently.
Consistently, yeah, and these regulatory demands
Yeah.
and the rigor of validation, it's not just like red tape or
Wow.
hurdle.
Yeah, it's a reflection of a very deep commitment to patient safety.
Right.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
These quality measures are fundamental to the trust that we place in our medications.
Yeah. I mean, when we go to the pharmacy and pick something up, We just kind of expect that it's going to work and it's going to be safe.
Absolutely, we take it for granted.
Yeah, and it's because of all this stuff that happens behind the scenes.
Exactly.
So to kind of recap here, QA is the overall system for preventing problems.
Yes.
GMP gives you the detailed instructions for consistent manufacturing.
Right.
And validation is providing that proof that it all works.
Driven by strict regulations
Driven by those strict regulations to protect us.
to protect us all.
Yeah,
Now consider this.
yeah.
What if these principles weren't followed?
Uh-oh.
What could be the consequences for the people who depend on these medications?
Yeah. I mean, that's a really, really scary thought.
It is a scary thought,
Yeah.
and it really highlights why this level of attention to detail is so essential.
It's not just like, we're being picky
Right.
or, following rules for the sake of it.
It's about people's lives.
Yeah,
It's about making sure that the medicines we take are safe and effective.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a fascinating look, I think, into the world of QA, GMP, and, kind of this whole validation process.
Yeah, it's a hidden world, but it's a vitally important one.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us,
Thanks for having me.
and we'll see you next time.